It's a special pose EZA Bonanza. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, to absolutely no one's surprise, Rian did not EZA during the Topo celebration. Instead, we have someone even better. We have the Int Super Saiyan 3 GotenkS. It's a long-awaited EZA for many people, so today we're going to go over his details as well as a bunch of other EZAs that were also announced as part of this, right? We have GotenkS, we have Topo, we have Fizz Great Seaman 2, we have AGL GotenkS, and we have Fizz Rian. All characters who were on that category banner that was recently released on JP Dokkan. So we're going to go over all of their details in this video and give our thoughts. It really does seem like the EZAs, the celebration, I mean, they basically confirmed the celebration was in fact not a Tournament of Power or Universal 11 themed celebration, but rather a special pose themed celebration. This is kind of confirmed by Topo's kit himself and now the EZAs that are coming. So, I mean, pretty good deal. I like the idea of it being more themed around a category specifically than like, you know, a specific restricted type of unit thing, like it being all Universal 11 or something, right? So, interesting nonetheless. So let's go ahead, let's jump on in. Let's start by taking a look at the translations for the GotenkS. So shout out to Blader for this. We've got the base form. He is now special pose, and youth, 170% on HP, attack, and defense. The only thing changing is youth gets key 3, while special pose gets key 4. His passive and base gives him key 2, attack, defense 200%, and an additional attack 50% when performing a super attack. He has a 50% chance of launching an additional super attack and a 50% chance of evading enemies' attack. He gains an additional chance of evading attacks, 10% with every attack evaded. He also has, for 1 turn from his first appearance, an additional 50% when performing a super attack. And he transforms when conditions are met, which is basically his next appearance. On his super attack, he is raising attack for the turn and greatly raising defense for 3 turns. So I kind of see why they did that, right? In case you have to float him off, he doesn't lose his defense. I feel like they should have just made it a permanent stack, but at least for 3 turns, if you have to float him off the next time he shows up, at least he won't have lost that defense, provided he gets a super attack that turn in the Super Saiyan form. Now, as far as what he's doing, I do like this evasion thing he's got going on. Hirudegarn has the same effect, and so do the UI Gokus, right? Gaining additional evasion once that initial evasion procs, you know, so it makes things kind of risky for the very first hit, but after that, it's pretty much smooth sailing to dodge city. So I honestly don't mind that. He's also got a pretty decent multiplier for his base form, right? I can already see where this guy is going. Once he is transformed into Super Saiyan, he has key 2, attack, defense 250%. He has an additional 50%, and he also has a high chance of another additional attack 50%. Not really a big fan of the high chance for an additional attack, but I mean, I guess the trade-off is you're only in this form for about 2 turns, so it's not really that big of a deal. He has a 30% chance to perform a critical hit when performing a super attack, so I mean, that's fine. It's honestly not that bad when you consider the type of support that he's going to have on his team with him. He also has a great chance of launching an additional super attack. That's a 70% chance. He has a 50% chance of evading enemies' attack, and his additional evasion is now up to 20%. So first turn, 50%, second turn, 70%, third turn, 90%. Or not turn, but rather attack received, right? Because it's every attack received. He also has a high chance of recovering 30% at the start of turn for 4 turns. Again, you're probably not going to see this that often, right? It's a 50% chance, but I mean, it's there. It's him only being in this form for like 2 turns means you're probably not going to, like, if you don't proc it, you may not see it at all. Now, he has an additional attack raise for 1 turn and greatly raises defense for 4 turns on his super attack, while having a 70% chance of stunning the enemy. So honestly, not that bad, right? You're going to use his Super Saiyan form to build that defense for 4 turns and then transform him. Now, once he is transformed into Super Saiyan 3, now there is going to be no change to the transformation conditions because it is an active skill. He now has Key 3 in attack defense 300% plus an additional 100% and high chance to perform a critical hit when performing a super attack. So that's a 400% attack multiplier when he is attacking. He also has a guaranteed additional super attack with a 70% chance to evade enemies' attack, including super attack. He also has an additional chance of evading enemies' attack, 20% every attack evaded. So 70% to start, 90% after that, guaranteed after that. So honestly, really, really good deal there. He also has a guaranteed critical hit for his first appearance. His super attack is now greatly raising attack defense for 4 turns. So I can already see where this guy is going. While he isn't attacking, stacking attack permanently, he's going to be getting high enough up there that looking at the stats here, he's, in terms of raw attack power, he's going to be pretty close to the level of Kefla in her early turns. Maybe not fully reaching her peak because Kefla does stack infinitely, but, you know, there's going to be some pretty similarities where they're both, you know, situated in the same fights. Obviously, if a fight goes super long, Kefla is going to come out on top because she'll continue to stack more, but for the shorter to medium-long fights, you're definitely going to be seeing similar performances, just based on what I'm seeing here. So I really do like what they did with his EZA. So really, really good job there. So let's take a look at the other EZAs. Let's start with the Topo. So we actually did manage to get Minato's translations on this one. As of right now, we'll check in a minute, but as of right now, I haven't seen any updates for the others from Minato. So let's just start with this one. So we've got Int Topo Pride Troopers, so that's good. That means he'll link with the Fizz Topo. On his super attack effect, he's raising attack for 1 turn and defense for 1 turn, causing supreme damage and greatly lowering attack and defense. Passive is 110% attack and defense. He has an additional 110% and Key 1 up to 3 when there are 3 or more Universal 11 category allies on the team. He guards all attacks and has an additional attack defense 110% when performing a super attack when there's another Universal 11 category ally attacking in the same turn. He performs a critical hit if all allies in the same turn are Universal 11 or Special Pose. He also has Universe 11 or Special Pose categories. Key 3, attack defense 50%, and chance to perform a critical hit 11%. I like this. We have guaranteed 50% supports now who are also giving critical hit support. I'm really digging this additional type of support, not just to stats, right? Having allies that can give allies things like critical hit, like damage reduction, like maybe evasion chance eventually, right? This could be really, really powerful. We start to see supports doing this. Now, I mean, obviously him being Universe 11, him being Universal 11 restricted, not too surprising. He was restricted to Universe 11 before. No surprises that that's that way now. Though them opening it up to Special Pose does help, right? He's going to work really well next to Topo. I mean, you basically are going to have his passive because you're going to run him next to Topo, right? No questions asked there. So, I mean, honestly, for what I'm seeing, pretty good. He's going to be a decent support for Topo's team. There's probably nowhere else you're going to be running these guys. So, real quick, let's just hop over to Minato's page here. Let's see if he's posted the other translations yet. No, not. Oh, here we go. We got GotenkS. Okay, so we'll go with GotenkS EZA here. So GotenkS is time limit support, and he's greatly raising defense for the turn, causing supreme damage with a 50% chance of stunning the enemy. He has attack and defense 150% and an additional 150% and performs a critical hit when facing 1 enemy. He has another defense 150% and launches an additional super attack when facing 2 or more enemies. Again, still very good in those multiple enemy fights. He's giving 50% to time limit. I like that, right? Because time limit does include Vegito Blues. It does include a lot of good characters, fusion type characters aside from Super Vegito. So I dig it. He's also got an attack and chance to evade enemies' attack, including super attack 10% up to 50% with each attack performed. So very nice. So he can get up to 50% chance of evasion, which, you know, for what he's doing, he's going to be a 50% support. He's going to be floating. It's pretty good. I'll give him that. We'll have to see him in game, what that defense actually looks like. Might be a little more dodge or die than I would like, but I mean, as a floating support, it's probably not going to be too bad with a 50% chance to dodge and greatly raising defense for the turn. If you've got some additional investment into him, you may be all right to at least tank some normals looking like. Now, I don't see Minato or anyone else having the translation post for the Rian or the Fizz Great Seaman. So we're actually going to hop over to Ignidex here. Shout out to him for putting this up. Let's take a look. He's got Fizz Rian. So I'm going to trust his translations here, but know that there may be some minor differences and to go back and double check when you've got them. But this is the temporary translations for what we got for these guys. So Rian raises attack and defense for 6 turns, causing supreme damage to the enemy. And remember, I believe she has a giant form. I don't know. I don't see is this the giant form? Yeah, this is the giant form. Does he have the Pride Troopers? Okay. Well, she does have a giant form, but I'm not sure if that's included in here or what. So she's got attack and defense 80% when launching a super attack. Key 1 per key sphere obtained. Randomly changes non-fizz key spheres to rainbow key spheres when there are 2 or more Peppy Gals allies on the team. She gets attack and defense 22%. Okay, that's why her attack and defense start is so low, because she's getting 22% per key sphere obtained. She has an additional attack, defense, and evasion 22% per rainbow key sphere. Interesting. I like that. So she can get up to 88% with 4 rainbow key spheres obtained. Dodge. Okay. I like that. That's not bad. Launches an additional super attack with 3 or more rainbow key spheres obtained. Turns giant form when conditions are met. Okay. All right. So this could be good. Right? She could be very good next to the LR Tech Rian, as well as just in general on the Peppy Gals team. So not bad. Okay. I can live with this. Let's take a look at the Great Seaman here. So AGL and Fizz types, key 3, attack and defense 100%. I mean, you're not really using this guy for elite anyways. He is greatly raising defense for the turn, causing immense damage, and raising attack for 3 turns. Very, very interesting. He's got attack and defense 180%. He has key 1 up to 3, attack defense 60% up to 180% for each ally who is on Defenders of Justice or Exploding Rage, whichever has the highest amounts. When there is a Majin Buu Saga enemy, always performs a critical hit. When there's an extreme class enemy, gets 180% attack. Wow, okay, and 30% damage reduction. If HP is 30% or less, recovers 50%. I like that. Give him a little bit of heal there. He also launches an additional attack that has a 50% chance to come into super attack. So, I mean, this could be good, especially when facing, I mean, you're not going to be using him in, like, the Blue Zone events, right? The Supreme Battle Spectacles, right? Because he wants to be against Extreme Class. But when versing Extreme Class, seems like he could be alright, right? And you get, what is that? 360 attack and defense? Well, 360 attack, 180 defense. But he's also got 30% damage reduction when facing extreme. So, I mean, this could be pretty good. I'm interested to see how he works. He's obviously going to want to be on Defenders of Justice, so other Great Saiyaman type units, other, you know, Videl, or even on Topo's team, he could work really well. So, I mean, I'm curious to see how this guy plays out in practice. It seems interesting, but I'm not sure how it would really work in practice, because he was already one of those, like the AGL Super Vegeta. He's just so old, his stats are just so low that, I mean, I hesitate when I see some of the percentages here. I'm not sure that it is enough to compensate for his age, but we'll have to see. I am curious. So, guys, that is it for the video. That is it for the translations. They definitely seem really, really good. GotenkS, I'm loving what I see with this guy. LR, GotenkS could be in the future. This guy's going to be a great help for him, especially if it ends up happening within the year when this guy can still be viable. But for right now, much on the same page as Kefla, he's going to be carrying a lot of good teams, and I'm really happy they handled him well. So guys, that's it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, what do you think of these upcoming EZAs? They all look good to me. I can't wait to see how they look in game. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.